We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI and SSDI. Continue watching this video because we have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check that you have to. A new monthly benefit increase is finally on the way, and the strict rules around the income thresholds for the programs like Social Security have just caused millions of Americans to miss out on huge monthly checks. But some lawmakers are looking into updating these prescriptions as a way to help recipients lift their monthly incomes, and now about 7 million Americans count on monthly government checks through a program for the low income. And according to a new report from the Urban Institute, one big change could help improve those beneficiaries' standard of living. That would be updating the program's rules around income. From work, the maximum SSI benefit this year is $914 a month, up from around $100 from 2022. Still, most SSI beneficiaries are within 150% of the federal poverty level. In addition, many people work with the SSI benefits. They're unable to find work though. New research shows that only a small percentage of recipients of those government checks are employed at any given time. And when they do work, they are held to strict rules around how much they can make. Beneficiaries can have up to $20 in unearned income per month, and their first $65 in earnings are exempt from the program's rules. But beyond that threshold, their SSI benefits will be reduced by 50 cents for every dollar of income. If that sounds low, that is because these thresholds have been unchanged since Congress created the program in 1972. At that time, it was just not common to index benefits to inflation. Social Security, disability, and retirement benefits had just started to be adjusted for those annual changes. But if SSI's income thresholds had been set to grow with inflation from the beginning, they would be more than 5 times large today. The general income actually would be $128, up from $20. Moreover, the earned income threshold would be $416 a month rather than $65. And moving the $65 income threshold to the fully indexed level would cost the government about $1 billion a year. But now it's about in 2019, the government spent $56 billion for the SSI benefits. Some of these beneficiaries collect Social Security, but their income is still subject to the SSI rules. Any changes to the income rules would be targeted to people who are just trying to work and are low income. It could enable SSI beneficiaries who can work to keep their benefits and help push their income above the poverty level. The research points to the possibility for part-time work when possible. It is not arguing for beneficiaries to do enough work to leave the program, but to be sure there are other reforms that could update this and improve the quality. It includes a $2,000 limit on asset individuals. The SSI Income Restoration Act, which was introduced last year, has proposed changes to both the income and asset relocations, but it just sought to bring up the monthly benefit up to 100% of the federal poverty level and index them to inflation. The unemployment rate for the recent month was very low, but it's a slight increase. Job gains and other factors show the U.S. labor market remains strong, but still the new rate mostly monitors that of the last 12 months.
The people of this country believe, in my view correctly, that we have a corrupt political system dominated by the wealthy and powerful, and we have a rigged economy in which large corporations are seeing massive increases in their profits, while the middle class and working families of the country continue to see a decline in their standard of living. We don't talk about it much here in the Senate or in the corporate media, but at this moment in American history, we have more income and wealth inequality than at any time in the last 100 years. Now, I know we're not allowed to talk about it. It's not fashionable. We might offend some wealthy campaign contributors. But today, obscenely, you got 3 people who own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. You have the top 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 92%. You have 45% of all new income going to the 1%. And you got CEOs of major corporations making 350 times more than average workers. In other words, the people in the middle, working people, struggling, people on top doing phenomenally well, and the people on the top have enough money to elect candidates who represent their interests. And that is the overall context, in my view, in which this reconciliation bill is coming to the floor. Now, I have heard from some of my colleagues that the Build Back Better legislation passed by the U.S. House of Representatives and supported by some 48 out of 50 members of the Senate Democratic Caucus and by the President of the United States is dead, not going anywhere. Can't get the 50 votes that is needed. Now, I don't know if that is absolutely true or not, but I do know that
signed him into a second term. So, though, not all of these fellow lawmakers share the priorities, though, because the House Speaker and Majority Leader claimed they wanted to prioritize tax credits for families, giving the families $3,000 for every child 5 or younger, with a cap of $7,500. Even the Massachusetts governor and top lawmakers signaled that a clearer picture of potential tax relief may not even emerge until at least the end of January, when a key final metric is actually heard of. So one governor, for instance, said their teams are working closely through numbers and evaluating what's possible. They said that we told reporters how important it is to make sure that we're doing everything we can for the residents of the state. And Healy on the campaign trail had vowed to make progressive permanent tax relief her day one priority. She also had largely echoed support for the now former governor Charlie Baker's sweeping tax cut proposal last year. And low, middle, and income residents have all received some stimulus payments just to stop the crying at least. But now the IRS said it recently finished correcting tax returns, filing that for 2020. And so the IRS said, folks, that the average tax refund is around $1,200, with tax agencies sending a total of $15 billion back to the taxpayers. So while taxpayers were sent letters from the IRS just to inform them about the fixes to the 2020 tax filings, well, tax review came due to the American Rescue Plan. It was signed by Joe Biden, we all know that, and because the IRS, it reviewed returns filed by workers and even other people who have jobless aid as income. So the IRS told CNBC that some taxpayers received refunds, while others received overpayment applied due to taxes or other debts. In some cases, the exclusion only resulted in a reduction in their adjusted gross income. But now we know that about 14 million tax returns were corrected. The IRS issued refunds for 12 million of those filings. It added individuals, married couples whose adjusted gross income was below 150 grand, or who were eligible to see unemployment and aid untaxed. According to the IRS, it has now finished corrections, everybody. Though it has added taxpayers who are eligible for the exclusion and who haven't gotten a correction from the IRS. Well, they need to be amended very, very quick, or else you won't get that stimulus cash that people need. Wow, we have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, SSDI, and I want to go over some very important notes that I have about the fourth stimulus payment and what Joe Biden should do about this fourth stimulus check and what he's going to do now very soon.
Hey everyone,